The mics are hot, and so's the gossip. Let's get into it in 3. Welcome to In 3. I'm Danielle Graham.
And I'm Callie.
And we are, in case you haven't heard, the #1 entertainment news podcast on Apple Podcasts. So thank you so much for making that happen,
baby.
I called you from Great Wolf Lodge.
You sure did.
I was inside the indoor water park,
Yeah.
so loud, and we had a shrieky, screamy, jumping up and down moment. It was amazing.
Yeah, it came as a surprise, not because, we haven't felt the love, but because, we're 2 episodes in and making a top 3 list feels really good. And to be at #1 is an incredible feeling. And ultimately it just means that it's resonating with our community, and our community is growing. And it's so exciting and so fun to be a part of something that other people are having a good time with too.
I could not agree more.
We're not the only ones having fun here, Danielle.
No, you're right. People are connecting, and that feels so good. So thank you. Yes. Today's episode, we have so much to get into.
I don't know why I'm already giggling.
I know why you're laughing.
Because you're right. There's so much to talk about. First, I need to talk about the fact that I feel like I only realized that Melania Trump is a genius last night.
Uh-huh. It's the hat.
The hat, the outfit, the whole thing.
The whole thing. I saw the hat, but then when the internet does its best work is when something like that happens, when we get to see all the different ways you can meme that hat. I was in tears. I love a boundary.
Yeah.
I love a queen with a boundary.
Right? We love an emotional boundary. We love personal boundaries. In this case, Melania loves a physical boundary, which who can blame her?
Right?
Honestly.
No, fair.
But it's literal genius. So this Carmen Sandiego getup.
Where in the world?
Or what was it? The Hamburglar. There was like a bunch of memes. But what we realize is this is a tool for her, so she doesn't have to get too close to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
We saw him leaning in for kisses, and the physical boundary. Nope. No, sir, not today.
She didn't even try to tilt her head slightly back to have that kiss make contact.
Now, I'm a fan of headwear.
Yes, you are.
Or at least, this is part of my legacy. I had a headpiece company, Crowns by Callie, R.I.P.
They were ahead of their time.
Facts.
They were, like everything you do.
Thank you.
And I was a proud supporter of the Crowns by Callie.
You sure were.
Yes.
You sure were. But yeah, so when I wear a hat and I'm at a social function, I will make an effort. You do what you have to do to make sure that other people around you are comfortable. That sometimes involves tilting a hat up so that either people can see your face or you can do the thing. She was not having any of that.
I'm wondering if this hat, maybe not to this exaggerated degree, but a hat or a physical boundary will be her look for this presidential term. For the next 4 years, hats.
I'm feeling it. And
Me
I
too.
also love the fact that the hat covered her eyes so that she could eye roll and make as many glares as she wanted to, or maybe even be asleep without anybody knowing.
That's right.
Genius.
You know who could not hide, though? Barron Trump. Barron Trump? What? Did you see any of the photos, like a group shot?
Yeah.
It was everybody else and then this huge spike of a human.
He's 6'9".
He's 6'9". He is the same size. Are you ready for this? As LeBron James.
No.
Yes. Barron Trump and LeBron James are the same height.
Oh boy.
He is a big boy, that Barron.
Wow.
Yeah. And the thing is too, he couldn't hide any of his facial expressions. He couldn't hide anything or anywhere. He was the opposite of Melania. He was so out there.
Oh my God.
He needed a hat.
You know who else couldn't hide is Lauren Sanchez's bustier.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, what do we call them? Creeps and geeks.
Yeah, it was creeps and geeks at the inauguration.
Creeps and geeks at the inauguration.
Ew.
Just absolutely eyeballing Lauren Sanchez and she looked gorgeous.
She did.
And a woman, should be allowed to wear a sexy and beautiful ensemble without being ogled And if you can't control your ogling on the biggest stage in the world, the inauguration of Donald Trump, if you can't control your eyeballs, guys, we need to do something.
Honestly.
Something's wrong here.
And you're right. These people know there are cameras everywhere and they're watching you because all eyes are on this group of geeks right now.
Yeah.
And I'm not even going to say geeks in like a nice, cute way.
No.
Like geeks and creeps is exactly as they presented yesterday.
Yes.
You know that there's cameras everywhere and everybody's watching you.
You get a
what
hold
are you
of
doing?
yourself. Yeah.
Also,
let's grow up a little.
You know I love a bustier. It is my favorite item of clothing.
No, that was Danielle coded all the way.
The only pieces of clothing I've kept over my, many years on television were bustiers.
Yeah.
That's it.
No, legendary. I know where to go whenever I need one.
I got you. Shall we get into, where do you want to go now? Do you want to go the JB hit that we have to give you off the top of the show?
We have to pop into that story. I know we talked about Justin and Haley last week. We went into depth about what is going on in that household based on their social media activity. And then, we thought we were going to get away with a week without discussing them, although we have been in the DMs sending back and forth some of Justin's social media posts being like, okay, something still is weird.
Mm-hmm.
But then this morning, as I'm hopping on the treadmill, I go onto social media only to see that the world has sleuthed and found out that Justin unfollowed Haley this morning.
The gasp I gasped when you sent me that this morning.
My God.
and then everyone was sending it to us.
And it was like,
what?
Yeah, because last week we determined it's probably nothing and we're reading a lot into it and maybe they're exhausted for being new parents. Case closed. Case not closed today when we thought that Justin unfollowed Haley. He's been on this unfollow streak and there's been some weird rufflings in their relationship, or so it seems. And then this seemed like to be the nail in the coffin.
Yes.
And I was first of all excited to talk about it with you, but then also sad because I want them to win. And it's also just so strange because he had just posted, they're in Aspen together, and he had just posted a story, I think like yesterday or the day before, saying she's the most beautiful, most amazing person in the world. And then this, and it's like, that's how chaotic their relationship has already been in recently. So it was believable.
It was believable.
It felt like, okay, yeah, it is plausible that 2 days ago he thought she was the most amazing woman in the world and today he's unfollowed her. But alas, but
also just in the middle of all that and why the unfollow felt extra a little bit strange is because he posted a carousel, many photos of himself smoking a bong.
Yeah.
Which was also really a strange a thing to post and share in the world. So then this unfollow happens. Everyone in the whole world is gasping.
Yeah.
Then he posts a story saying, someone got into my account and unfollowed my wife. Things are getting sus out there.
Yeah.
So is he claiming he was hacked? Is he claiming, I don't know. I don't know what he's claiming. Is it a hack? Because if it was a hack, if you're a hacker and you're in Justin Bieber's account, you could do a lot more than that.
Yeah. Is that the thing you're going to do first? I don't know. But although it did cause the world to really scramble.
Yeah.
That story was picked up like a hot potato.
Oh my God.
Okay. And him saying that it's sus out there makes me feel like he's trying to imply that the other unfollows that we talked about last week were also not from him. But I don't know. The whole thing is so strange. Him with the bong in Aspen. It's not normal behavior for him.
It's not.
It's not giving I'm a new dad. It's not giving an I'm trying to be a great husband. It's not giving I'm trying to convince the world that we're good in this house. He's allowed to smoke pot. I don't really care about that, but it's just not giving the image that I thought that he would want to present, especially in light of the messiness around the new year.
I totally agree. And the fact that it was several photos.
One
bong smoking photo in a story is different than several in a carousel in your main feed.
Yeah.
So for now, everything's okay. I still feel like there is a smidge of a crack, is my feeling. There's something just a little not quite right.
I would agree with
that. And I don't want to say that.
I would agree with that. And, we'll have to wait and see, I guess. It seems like whatever's going on, they keep scrambling and clamoring to keep things together.
Yes.
So hopefully, they busted out that crazy glue and they're gluing the pieces and doing what it takes. But maybe we leave the bong at home next time.
Maybe we do that. Yeah, maybe we do that. Okay, let's get into the big three. It is time.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So the big 3 stories this week, obviously, story number 1, Justin Baldoni countersuing Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, and the publicist for $400 million.
Yes.
And all the details we learned from the lawsuit that he filed, which are wild.
It's just never ends.
Never ending.
Doesn't end with
It ends
us.
with no one.
Yeah.
It goes on forever. Then we're also going to talk about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce.
Yep.
And their romance and what's going on.
Right.
And then third story, Wendy Williams.
Yes.
We heard from Wendy Williams. She phoned into a radio show, shared a lot about what she's living with, but also got into some of the Diddy.
Yeah. She called in to talk about her own situation and ended up with a huge headline in the news about what she's, predicting is going to happen to Diddy. So that was an interesting one. And I can't wait to talk about that. And then we have to talk about Cameron Diaz.
I love this story.
I love this story too.
Yeah.
I'm so excited to have her back. I'm really excited to talk about her. I watched the new movies so that you all don't have to or can if you want.
Yeah.
But I did the good work.
You did.
Yeah. And
Thank you
so
for your
I
service.
will loop you all in on that. But without further ado, I think, we got to get into the Justin, Blake, Ryan, New York Times,
Game of Thrones and lifting of people and text messages and rooftop scenes. There is so much.
There is so much going on.
Yeah.
And I think the best place to begin is talking about his almost 200-page lawsuit against Blake, Ryan Reynolds, her husband, and
the publicist.
And the publicist.
So everybody's in the mix. The way this started, though, is Blake Lively sued first.
Right.
So this is a countersuit, which he's entitled to do. My question is, if we want to even dial it back to December, would we even be here if she didn't throw the first punch? I don't think we would be. And
I probably wouldn't be in this deep.
No, we wouldn't. So at this point, no one is benefiting, although we have seen Justin in Hawaii. Just Livin.
Looking like he doesn't have a care in the world.
No, he looks carefree.
But, this goes back to, I truly think he has the hardest working team in town. And they probably said to him, you got to get out there. You got to look good. So he's shirtless on the beach. You got to talk about your family. You got to talk about the Lord. Okay? These are the things that are going to put you in the good graces with the American people.
Yes.
And so he was spotted accidentally, I'm sure that was just a coincidence, by TMZ first, where they asked him how he's doing, how he's handling everything. He says, I'm leaning on the people in my life. I'm leaning on my family, and I'm leaning on the Lord. Tick, tick, tick. Then he's on the beach looking,
great, fantastic.
Gorgeous.
Yeah.
He's a beautiful man. So I think, they're telling him to leverage the things that are working in his favor. And certainly those are some of them. And I think we're seeing that.
Yeah, I think, again, no one's winning here because everyone's taken hits on their image and reputation, on our thoughts, on how we feel about them. I think right now, as it stands, he does have at this moment the last word because his lawsuit was the last one filed.
Yeah.
I think the public right now, by the looks of things, if you look in the comment section of articles or even just a quick little Reddit creep, the response is overwhelmingly in Justin's favor at this moment in time. And that stems from some of the text messages that he revealed in this lawsuit. So the text messages are so crazy to me.
They are wild. And it's just a reminder to us and everyone out there, don't put it in writing. Never put it in writing.
Honestly, pick up the phone.
Yeah, pick up the phone.
Pick up the phone. And when I was reading these messages from Blake Lively, and I'm sure lots of you have seen them, and they are lengthy. They are wordy. I mean, she's very articulate.
Yeah.
Very, very articulate. She refers to Ryan Reynolds and Taylor Swift, her two people, as her dragons, which gave me this visual of how they must have presented.
Did you watch Game of Thrones?
No, did you?
Yes.
You did.
I
don't even know what a Khaleesi is. I'm the only person on planet Earth who did not watch Game of Thrones, and it drives Randall crazy. Anyway.
Okay, well, you don't have to watch it. I'll upload you.
Okay.
When I read that text message that the Baldoni lawsuit presented to the world, where she says what he'll come to learn is that she is Khaleesi and that she has dragons, for better or for worse, mildly threatening.
I think so.
Khaleesi is not only one of the greatest female characters of all time, the strongest, boldest, emboldened leader, but does everyone know how it ends? She burns everything to the ground.
Oh.
She is the villain of the spoiler alert. She is the villain of the entire series.
Oh.
So
that changes things.
It's not just giving, fantasy, beautiful queen with the dragons. It's like, this woman burnt the shit to the ground. The ground. The absolute ground. Nothing was left after that.
I mean, Blake is on track for burning it all to the ground right now.
Like, actually. And so for her to bring Taylor into it, so the backstory on that is essentially what Justin is also trying to prove is that Blake and Ryan tried to steal creative control from him when he was the director and he was the one who optioned the movie and all these things, that they tried to take over creative control and basically shut him out of all creative decisions. They had him to their apartment in New York, where we know that Ryan berated Justin allegedly. And then what he's saying is they had him there to talk about the rooftop scene that Ryan allegedly helped rewrite,
which Blake declared on the red carpet at the premiere of the film.
She did.
She said it.
She said Ryan wrote that scene.
Yes.
Now,
which also caused a lot of complications within production, because when the studio were getting word that Ryan Reynolds now had a hand in the writing of this movie, they were like, we don't have any contract with him. We don't have a deal with him. Like, what is going on? And you did see a lot of that back and forth in the text messages of, it's almost like they were losing control of the film, and it was causing a tremendous amount of problems within production. And then on top of that, the allegations that if Blake didn't get her way, allegedly, according to Justin's lawsuit, she would delay production, threaten to quit, or threaten not to promote the movie. And this was the cycle over and over and over again. And movies are really expensive to make. So time lost is pricey.
Yes.
So we also kind of got this idea of like, oh wow, was this like were these tantrums that were happening on set of this movie?
Perhaps.
And for me, when I looked at this thing as a whole, and again, I stand with women, and I want to make that very, 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 very clear. This is the opposite of clear. This whole thing is so muddy.
Yeah.
But when I read what we read within the lawsuit, for me, it was giving, do you know who I am? That was the tone of it. It's giving, do you know who we are? And it's almost as though she overestimated her power and underestimated his fight.
Yeah, she certainly did underestimate him. I think that's what we're seeing here. And I agree. I think regardless of what you think of Blake, regardless of what you think of her accusations towards him, because I think that, we have to make sure that we hold space for her sexual harassment allegations against him. But what we're seeing subsequently is that, she even outwardly says that she's weaponizing her status by way of her marriage to Ryan and by way of her friendship with Taylor. And that's why she refers to them as her dragons. And what Justin is saying is that he felt coerced by Ryan and Taylor both being present at that meeting and sort of suggesting that this version that Ryan wrote and that Blake liked better was the version to go with. And that he went along with it because he felt coerced by sort of the power in the room.
Right.
And then now is backtracking, saying he didn't really feel that way, but he felt like he was up against a wall.
And he had no choice. There's also, within the lawsuit, we learned that, a film goes through a few edits to get to the final version. Blake had an edit and Justin had an edit, obviously, director of the movie.
Yeah.
They screened these edits for audiences, and Justin's was the one that was preferred. It was preferred by audiences.
Better.
It did.
Yeah.
And the one that was released was Blake's
version. But I will say, her lawyers are saying that what we will come to find out, and I guess there's more to be revealed, is that Sony asked her to do that.
Okay.
So there's always a if and or but and we'll see in this story. So it's hard to know, where it ends or what we can trust. The interesting thing, and I always think about, okay, well, who did we hear from when Blake first released her sexual harassment allegations lawsuit?
Mm-hmm.
We heard from a lot of her co-stars that stood with her. We heard from Colleen Hoover, the author of the book.
That Blake didn't read.
That Blake allegedly did not read. Embarrassing.
Oof.
But we heard from Colleen. Okay. She stood with Blake in a very public, very clear manner.
Yep.
Have you looked into Colleen Hoover's Instagram lately?
I have not. Hit me.
She has deleted her entire account.
What? She went full Scooter Braun?
Full Scooter.
Deactivation?
It's gone. Not there.
Whoa. That's not great. That's not great.
It's not great. It's not a great look for Blake.
It's not. I mean, none of this is great for Blake right now.
But for me, it was like, okay,
oh boy.
What are the other people saying? Because if it's a he said, she said, Justin v. Blake,
Mm-hmm.
there were lots of other people there. So what are they saying? So when we heard from her co-stars, when we heard from the author standing steadfast with her, I was like, okay, I know what's going on here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anymore.
I don't know
Know
either.
anymore. Okay, and then we have to talk quickly about the fact that Justin has now involved Disney because he wants them to make sure that they hold on to
Mm-hmm.
all the interactions that they may have had or all correspondence.
Preserve it all.
About Deadpool versus Wolverine. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Because allegedly there's a character in that movie that Ryan Reynolds wrote and, produced that is based on Justin.
Nice pool.
Nice pool. Did you watch that movie, Danielle?
I've not watched it yet. I've seen
Let
the
me
scene
upload
though.
you.
I've seen the scene of, the nod to the intimacy coordinator.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of other.
He has a very similar hairline to Justin Baldoni. Like,
Oh,
it's not Ryan Reynolds' hairline. It's Justin Baldoni's hairline. It's obviously a wig. He has a man bun. There's references to intimacy coordinators. There's references to post-baby bodies, where Nice Pool says, you wouldn't even know she just had a baby. And Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds, says, I don't think you're supposed to say that.
Oh,
so that's
boy.
a little stab at, allegedly, a stab at, Justin talking about Blake's post-baby body, her postpartum body. And then how Nice Pool dies is at the end, Lady Pool, who they also claim Blake played Lady Pool.
Yeah.
You can't see her face, so
But-
I don't really think that was her, but I think it was symbolic.
right.
Big blonde ponytail. She comes out and she just takes a machine gun and levels him out. Deadpool uses Nice Pool as a shield, and they are in front of a flower shop.
Oh boy.
So we know that It Ends With Us is all about the flower shop. Her name is Lily Bloom. It's Sage Blooms is the name of the flower shop. And allegedly also Justin Baldoni was a sager on set. He would sage energy and whatever. So it does look a lot like perhaps Ryan used Deadpool Wolverine as a platform to ridicule, make fun of, use Justin as the brunt of a joke, which honestly, people are welcome to gain inspiration from whatever they want. They don't name him. It's really not a direct association. I think people figured it out only because of what we're dealing with now. Had it not been for all this, we wouldn't have known, and that would have just been their inside joke. Is it illegal to do that? No.
Is it bullying though? Like that feels a little bit wielding your very clear super status.
Yes.
In that way feels to me like bullying a little bit. No?
I think it's petty. Do I think it's bullying?
I think they think they're untouchable. I think this whole thing comes from a place of ego. This is all ego.
That is for sure ego driven.
This whole thing started with an ego problem because when Blake Lively filed this lawsuit, we had all forgotten. Okay, we had forgotten about this whole thing. It was a bad press tour. Yes. Would we remember it in a couple of years? Probably not.
Right.
And then as this thing is dead for the most part, no, you know what we're going to do? We're going to get the last word. It was almost like, and another thing. Here's a lawsuit. And the thing about the lawsuit is, as we're seeing in real time play out, now all your correspondence is under a microscope. So why would you file a lawsuit like that? Knowing that through discovery and all the process that all your correspondence and your text messages and your emails and the way in which you write and the words in which you use and the way you describe your best friend and your husband is all going to be out there for public consumption. That for me is such an ego move, because I think if she thought for a minute, okay, wait, this I look a little exposed here. This isn't so great. I should probably go through our text messages. Oh, I don't really love that I called my husband and my best friend a dragon.
Right.
He's never going to do anything about it. That's what I think happened. I think she completely underestimated, they as a whole completely underestimated it. And now if there was some like yikes, maybe cracks on the public opinion of Blake Lively, they're getting bigger and bigger and bigger by the day.
I agree. I think you're right. I think she thought in order to repair her reputation that had been damaged by the press tour, she, as in attempt to repair her reputation, launched that lawsuit. I'm not saying that the sexual harassment didn't happen.
Me either, to be very, very clear. I am not claiming that at all.
But she certainly, I think, and I agree with you, did not anticipate that he would come with an army and ready to fight them to the literal death of all their careers. Like, no one, as you said, is going to win here. No. Yeah, they're going to need to staff up with people that can help them out of this deep hole that they're digging for themselves right now.
They almost need to scrap the whole team at this point because whoever's advising you is not doing a great job. Scrap, move on. And you're going to have to hear some hard truths. Somebody's going to have to serve it to you real. And I think that's also part of the problem. It's a lack of people are afraid to tell people what they need to hear when they're that powerful. Somebody needs to tell them straight up.
Because it seems as though they think they have all the answers and they clearly do not.
Okay, let's pick it up with the dragon, Taylor. No, don't come for me, Swifties. I love her. You know I love her. Let's move on to Taylor and Travis and their romance.
Well, you can come for me because I am not a Taylor stan.
Callie, we don't want to get this podcast canceled.
Sorry. Okay. No. Okay.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. They are a very passionate
They're
group.
very passionate. Let me be clear. I think she's very talented.
Yes.
As a songwriter. She's obviously a powerhouse businesswoman.
Yeah.
But I just don't like her music, okay?
That's fair.
There was one album that I loved, and that's it.
Okay.
And I don't know. It's just not my thing. And also, can we get this girl a stylist?
I mean, okay. Are you talking about the latest outfit at the Chiefs game?
I'm talking about every single outfit we've ever seen her wear, period. End of story. That's it.
Okay. You know what? That is a common take amongst
like, I'm sorry. She's known for a lot of things. Fashion is not one of them. Now, the fact that she was wearing like literally like a $50,000 outfit to the football game the other day, head to toe Chanel, just because it's expensive doesn't mean it looks good and doesn't mean you styled it right.
Yep, that is a take that I have seen. And people have.
Honestly,
I'm afraid of the heat.
And it's okay. I'll protect you.
Okay.
And honestly,
will you be my dragon?
I'm always your dragon.
You actually have always been my dragon. That is a fact.
I will dragon the shit out of anyone that comes for you.
That is a fact. You are my dragon.
Okay, I was going to say something, but then I realized like your hair hasn't really changed over the years, but
it has not. That's a fact.
Taylor's just really committed to those bangs.
Yep.
And that red lip and that big winged eye.
Yep.
So she just must love it.
She loves the look.
Even Ariana Grande moved on from her ponytail eyeliner phase.
You know what? I am a person who has had this hair for as long as you've probably seen me. And
but it's not polarizing. Like, it's a beautiful hairstyle.
Thank you.
Taylor, like bangs, you know, I know that this is sort of her image and it's her thing, and maybe she's just really committed to going the distance with it. But I just couldn't help the other day wonder, what if we just changed it up for a second and just just for shits and giggles.
She does have curly hair, which is a difficult texture, or can be, I hear, to work with. So maybe it's that.
We digress.
We did. So he gave an interview. So the Chiefs played on the weekend. Yes, I know this. Did I watch that game live? Yes, I did. Callie, who am I?
What is going on? I
have to tell you something.
Okay.
I watch sports now.
What happened?
I watched 3 football games on the weekend.
I'm sorry.
I have a jersey.
Were you forced at gunpoint?
No.
What? Like
I
willingly?
I have a Buffalo Bills jersey now.
What?
Okay, I don't know anything about anything that's going on, but I did watch the Chiefs game because I wanted to see Taylor, and Travis had just given this interview where he talked about their relationship. Probably the most he said about it.
Yeah.
And he said that, you know, he feels so supported. He was asked about retirement, and he said, Taylor's encouraging me to continue to play the game that I love, and I'm out here able to do what I'm able to do because I feel this support, and I'm giving her the same support when she's at her concert, so she always knows that I've got her, which I thought was really great and really lovely.
And they are a super supportive couple. I love to see that. If I'm Taylor, though, I don't want a retired man as a partner. Like, that's when all kinds of midlife crises happen. Yeah. That's when they get really annoying. They're around too much. Yeah. They don't have anything of their own, so they're meddling. They're annoying.
What are you doing? What are you doing today? What do you want to do today? No, he would immediately have to go into sports casting or something else.
So of course she's like, honey, yes, no, stay, don't retire. You're doing great, and he is, from what I understand. They're literally, I've never watched a football game to start to finish. I don't know what team he plays for. I think it's red team because she always wears red outfits.
It is the red team.
But
they've won the Super Bowl the last 2 years.
Right. Good for them.
Yeah.
So nice.
So great.
I do
know
Bills,
that. Though. Go Bills.
So this is your team?
Yes, Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
It's our team.
Wait, he plays for the Buffalo Bills?
No, we're cheering against him. We're cheering for the Bills.
Okay, and can we talk about what's going on in the box? I guess there's always like a mumbo jumbo smorgasbord of like a random buffet of celebrities in the box at Travis Kelce's games with Taylor. And I always find that so weird. So from what I understand, this most recent game that we saw her in the Chanel outfit, we saw her sitting next to Caitlin Clark, who's the phenomenon in women's basketball. I know that. And they were chilling. They were whispering all kinds of things and having their moment. I guess also because her number one sidekick, Blake, is currently unavailable.
Yes. I love the word mumbo jumbo. Yeah. It was a mumbo jumbo buffet. Smorgasbord. Is that how you say that word?
Smorgasbord. Smorgasbord.
Also surprise guest, Brooke Shields.
Right. And she seems to be everywhere right now.
She's everywhere right now because we're hearing a lot about Brooke Shields. Well, a lot about Brooke Shields.
Yeah, more information than we necessarily need. First of all, we should say she was there. She was at the game with Travis's mom,
Mama Kelsey.
Allegedly. I don't have to say allegedly here. It's all good. I'm just so paranoid about the Blake and Ryan stuff.
I know.
So apparently they are working together on some kind of project to do with women over 50 and
shingles awareness,
helping educate them about shingles.
So the awareness
seems a little random. We can agree.
100% random. It was Mama
shingles
Kelsey,
awareness.
Shingles awareness.
Right.
Mama Kelsey, Brooke Shields, Gina Torres of Suits fame.
Okay.
And they were all wearing friendship bracelets with the shingles awareness messaging.
So they're taking the Taylor Swift friendship bracelets.
What I would love to have been in that marketing pitch meeting when they put a deck together. We got it. Brooke Shields.
Yep.
Taylor Swift, Mama Kelsey, Gina Torres in the box.
Perfect.
Talking shingles with the bracelets.
It's a foolproof plan. Away we go.
And go. But you know what? It actually kind of worked because here we are.
Talking about it.
Talking about
shingles awareness. So bravo to them.
They pulled it off.
Yeah, they sure did.
They really did.
But in other Brooke Shields news, which
you want to touch on it?
I don't know why you had to send me that this morning. I was having a perfectly fine morning watching my Diddy documentary.
You're welcome.
You. But then I get this clip about Brooke Shields being interviewed by Chelsea Handler talking about vaginal rejuvenation surgery. Take it away.
So, yeah, I mean, it's not like I'm an expert in this. I am not going to be the vaginal rejuvenation expert on this show. Nope. Take it away, Danielle.
I mean, okay.
Oh my God.
To be clear,
I'm dying. I can't. Oh no.
To be clear,
I know.
I wasn't implying you're an expert, although you did send me that story, so it's your story. Take it away.
I sent you that story. Okay,
This is gonna backfire on me someday.
It is 100%. You don't think I'm putting this in the drawer for later? You are wrong. Okay. Yes, Brooke Shields underwent vaginal rejuvenation surgery, according to the interview she did with Chelsea Handler.
Right.
Specifically, I don't want to say it, but like, do I have to say it?
I think it was a labiaplasty first.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say labia.
It's okay.
Now okay, you're right. It's
We're
fine.
friends here. We're adults.
We are.
Right?
Yes. So is that the word, labiaplasty?
I think so.
Okay, so that's
a reduction.
A reduction. Yeah.
She apparently says that she has had some issues.
Yeah.
With the anatomy, sizes.
And discomfort.
Yep. And decided to undergo reduction.
Seems
surgery.
like you know a lot about this subject.
And then she talks about the fact that he threw in a twofer.
Yes.
The surgeon threw in a twofer. And as she awoke, he alerted her to the fact that he also did some rejuvenation, which I think, I did not look this up, but I think it means he like went in and did some tightening.
She said tightening
or something. And that is that legal?
No.
That feels
like you need to fill out a form that says, yes, I want this, and you sign it and you commit to that. You don't, and he did it according to the interview that she gave to Chelsea Handler in a winky kind of way, like got you, girl, threw in a little something for you.
Yeah.
In what
Enjoy.
world? In what world?
I mean,
are we making choices about women's bodies?
That is deeply uncomfortable.
Oh my God.
She talked about it almost like a joke, but that's alarming.
I do really love where Brooke Shields is right now. And it's something to look to and aspire to be, which is like, she does not care. She shares, awful messages she gets from people who are unkind about her appearance or the way in which she's aging. And she's just like, whatever. Don't care.
Next.
Don't care. And you can tell she really doesn't care. And what a gift to get there. Like the hope for
this is the
everybody.
Dream.
Oh my, I'm inching my way
I feel
there.
like we're well on our way.
I think we are actually.
I think you and I are both reformed people pleasers.
Yep. I agree. We're getting there bit by bit. And they do say that that's what happens as life unfolds.
Yes.
And I love that. And
Bravo, Brooke.
Bravo, Brooke.
Okay, so let's pivot to the third of our big three stories. Wendy Williams. Mm-hmm. Now, this is a tough one. For those who don't know, Wendy is or was a very famous talk show host in the U.S., where she was quite opinionated, very outspoken, very loud, very articulate, very full of life. Suddenly, she started to have some health problems. Now, at first, the health problems were like about hormonal issues and things, and she started to miss episodes, and she had people filling in for her. And then suddenly people started talking about her having some kind of mental incapacitation, and she went under guardianship just a few years ago. So similar to what happened to Britney is what happened to Wendy.
I wanted to understand who Wendy's guardian is. It's a court-appointed guardian, unlike Britney, who had a family member, in control of her life, for lack of a better word.
Yeah.
So Wendy's is a court-appointed guardian.
Yes.
And she has this guardianship because the diagnosis that they say has been put on her is aphasia and dementia, which is what Bruce Willis is experiencing, sadly.
Yeah.
They're also saying that part of that is caused from brain damage due to alcohol.
Oh.
And they're classifying Wendy as incapacitated and cognitively impaired.
Right.
And so she's in a facility. She's in the New York area. Her family's all in Florida. She phones into a radio show and shares what her current life looks like and how she's feeling. She, to my ear, did not sound cognitively impaired.
And she said that. She said to them straight up, "Do I sound impaired to you?" And they said, honestly, no, you sound great. You sound fine. Although we have seen, there was some documentaries done about Wendy, and there's been some erratic photographs and footage of her. So I don't think there's nothing going on, but this guardianship situation and this trend that we're hearing about with Britney first and now Wendy, it's really sus.
Yeah.
It's very suspect. It's very strange. So she says basically that she's in captivity.
Yep.
Basically, that she feels like she's living in a prison where no one can call her. She can call out sometimes, but she was also very fearful that they were going to take away her privileges.
Because she said that the guardianship is retaliatory if she speaks out against it. So she was fearing losing any of the very small limited privileges she currently has. I don't pretend to know much about a diagnosis like Wendy's. There is some chatter that the reason she's in a facility under that much control is due to the alleged previous alcohol abuse. So if she wasn't in a facility where she was being watched in such a way, let's say she was living in her own home or living a little bit more freely, access to alcohol is a possible problem.
Oh.
This is what, and there was also some people who have experience with aphasia and dementia where you kind of slip in and out of lucidity. So some days you're really on and some days, and like we heard.
That.
Me too. And I don't pretend to understand or know, but that's just sort of some of the other context to this story that is being shared.
I just feel like there's got to be a better way.
I agree.
You know, it sounds like she has a close family and it sounds like they're not with it. It doesn't sound like they're supportive of what's happening. I just feel like there's got to be a better way, you know, if she needs support, like for her sobriety or what have you. I feel like there's a better way to do it.
It's just so scary. It's so scary to think that all your rights and freedoms could be taken away like that.
Very scary, very sad.
It is indeed.
Now, at the end of her interview, she dropped a bit of a bomb on The Breakfast Club. Now, as I mentioned, Wendy does not mince her words as it relates to celebrities and her opinions on them and controversies and things. And it's gotten her in trouble before. This time, her parting words with The Breakfast Club were about Diddy. Basically, she said, Diddy is going down and he's going to be in prison for the rest of his life, essentially.
Yep. And what I love about that, obviously Wendy Williams calling into a radio show would have made headlines. I think it would have made some ripples and some waves. Adding the Diddy element at the end just tells you how clever Wendy Williams is, because she knew by saying that her story would be picked up even wider.
You're right.
She was like, I know how to get this.
Oh my God, you're right.
Yeah, the girl knows the media.
I didn't even think about that.
I think that was, I mean, she wanted to say what she wanted to say, but I think it was also an opportunity for her to be heard fully.
Let's get the eyeballs on this one.
I want everyone listening. And if I mention Diddy, everyone's going to be listening. So
we are.
And we are. And she's been talking about Diddy since the 90s. She claims that Diddy had her fired from a radio show. She claims that Diddy sent a group of women to jump her and beat her up. She claims she knows the monster that he is and the person that he is, and that he is going to prison for the rest of his life. And she said now what people are saying is, you were right, Wendy, you were right. Because she's been saying this all along.
She sure has.
And now she's feeling vindicated.
Yes. Now, the conspiracy side of the internet, which is somehow part of my algorithm.
I mean, they're loud, those conspiracy people.
Loud.
They'll find their way.
You know, it's not that I buy into all the conspiracies, but I do like to hear what the people are saying. Just food for thought.
I agree.
Now, Wendy, having been healthy and then suddenly not healthy, can be compared to others in Diddy's world or in the Diddy story.
I see where you're going.
Who have been healthy and then fallen into unhealthy times or even death.
Pneumonia.
Now, we don't have to get into all of that, but we have seen a lot of people who have spoken out against Diddy or who had information about Diddy either get very sick and be incapable of talking about it or die. It's a terrible conspiracy to talk about, but it is out there.
It is.
So some are saying that Wendy's aphasia or whatever she's dealing with could be linked to Diddy. Now, another part of the internet says that another powerful person who has also had some rumors and chatter about people that have spoken out against her and her family have fallen on hard times. Beyonce.
What?
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
Elaborate.
So when Beyonce was pregnant with Blue Ivy, remember she had the baby bump incident.
That everyone thought was a fake baby bump.
Yeah, in Australia. When she sat down, baby bump crumpled.
Yes.
The first person to call her out, Wendy Williams.
Whoa.
Yep.
Did you go into the archives for this?
This has been in the box.
It has.
It's been all in the dome the whole
my
time.
God.
I was just waiting for Wendy to come forward so we could talk about it.
I love your brain.
So people are saying that Wendy, who has been outspoken about Diddy and about Beyonce and Jay-Z, has become ill due to allegedly Beyonce's camp being unhappy with Wendy speaking poorly on her and potentially, releasing rumors into the world that they don't want to be released.
Oh.
And that's what the underbelly of the internet is saying.
Thank you, darkweb.com.
I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just telling you what the facts are.
That's it. Now, we have to talk about Cameron Diaz and her return after 10 years and her cutie cute marriage.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I think we have to say that we have taken Cameron Diaz for granted.
You're right.
I think we all loved her, but I think we didn't realize how much we loved her and how amazing she was until we didn't have access to her for almost a whole decade.
Did you realize it had been 10 years? I did not. That since she'd made a movie, this is her first movie in 10 years. I really didn't know.
I mean, as we have been talking about, a decade flies by real quick.
She does. That is true.
But no, I didn't realize it. But I did watch her new movie, Back in Action, with Jamie Foxx.
Is it cute?
It is so cute.
I love her.
And honestly, having her on the screen was really comforting. She looks amazing. Hasn't missed a beat.
52, I might add.
She's moving and looking like she's literally 22. I mean, it's very much giving Charlie's Angels.
Aww.
And all the skills that she built then. She's kicking ass. And it's also really refreshing to have a real woman with, a real aging face and body. I mean, aging, I say lightly because she looks unbelievable.
But I love that, though. You're right. Cameron Diaz, just like us, she was doing authentic before people were talking about being authentic.
Yeah.
And I think she's shown up like that for a very long time.
Yeah, she
Even
has.
taking the 10-year break to focus on her family. They've got 2 small children and to be a mom. And she said, I'm just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like every other mom.
2 years prior to her taking that break, she was the highest paid woman in Hollywood.
Yeah.
So imagine being like, I'm just going to take a step back from that. First of all, that takes a lot of balls.
Yep.
Second of all, it takes a lot of self-assurance. And I think that thing that we're talking about right now with Brooke Shields about who cares what other people think? This is what I want and this is what I'm going to do. So I'm going to do it. Head down, just do your thing.
Yep.
And I love that.
I love that. She did say, these years past, she took no advances, no interest in any projects, nothing at all.
Yeah.
Her focus was on the things that mattered to her. And it wasn't about staying relevant, staying out there, beating out other actresses for roles, being in the next big franchise. It was, I've got these 2 small kids that I really wanted, and I wanted this family life, and I'm going to do this now.
Yeah.
And without question, just was like, I'm going to go do my thing. And I love that so much. I also love, in the realness category, Benji shared a post.
Her
her husband.
Madden.
Benji Madden, so cute. Sometimes I mix it up and I think it's Joel, but anyway. Benji shared a post celebrating their 10-year wedding anniversary, and it was so cute, calling her his queen, but also saying, this marriage is never perfect, always real. And I thought, I love that too. So you're not even going to pretend like, oh my gosh, and everything is so great, and you're a musician, and she's a beautiful actress, and you've got these kids, and life is none of that. It's like, no, it's real.
Hard work.
It's hard work. And as
life
someone
is
who's
tough.
also married 10 years, and you're almost 10 years.
Yep.
Thank you for your service in sharing that, because
You're
it
right.
is difficult. There are days
Yeah.
that are difficult. So I love that too, in sharing the real.
What was in the water in the Madden household?
Honestly.
Because those 2, the twins, are they twins?
They're twins.
They're twins.
Yeah.
Benji and Joel Madden have married some of, I think, the most impressive women you could possibly think of.
Yeah.
Joel is married to Nicole Richie, and Benji is married to Cameron Diaz. And I'm like, I've never met them. Have you met them?
I've not, but all I've ever heard of the Good Charlotte brothers is that they are wonderful gentlemen.
I mean, they must be.
I think that would be the funnest foursome to hang out with.
Oh, yeah. They could really live on our block.
They could.
Those are celebrities that I would be okay with buying houses on our block. You know, Danielle and I are literally next door neighbors. Yep. We have another friend that lives adjacent to us, and it's our little triangle. The Madden brothers and their amazing spouses could live on our block, and we could all hang, and it would be super fun.
And don't you think with both Joel and Nicole and Benji and Cameron that these couples are going the distance?
Yeah.
I felt that from the time they got married, you know, because we followed these stories for so long, especially in our previous lives as entertainment show people.
Yeah.
When they got married, I thought that's it for these people. I couldn't even hint a whiff of a possible ending. They just seemed really locked solid from the very beginning.
Yeah, and both of those couples managed to stay under the radar.
I think that's part of the reason.
Especially considering the star power of both couples. You know, Nicole Richie, before she married Joel, was fodder for the tabloids.
Oh, yeah.
And they have managed to really live an undercover life and kind of pop out in moments that feels right for them. And Cameron and Benji, we haven't even seen their kids. They have like full grown kids.
Yeah. And she said, you won't see them, but know that they're really cute, is what I love. The post that she shared when they had their last child.
And it
baby's here. You won't see the baby.
Love that.
But promise you the baby's cute. Adorable. Love it.
I'm sure that the baby is very cute. And it also just reminds us that what you see out there in the headlines is because they want you to see it.
Thank you.
If they didn't want to be seen, they wouldn't, aka Cameron Diaz.
I'm going to also add Leighton Meester and Adam Brody into that story too. We don't see them. That is by design. These are choices. There are ways. It is possible, and those are three couple examples of how possible it is.
And if you really want to be seen, aka Justin Baldoni on the beach without his shirt
in high sun too, right? It was
you will have no trouble ending up exactly where you want in the press.
I actually realized the last movie Cameron Diaz made was Annie. I did the interviews for that movie.
You did?
It was in New York. I did.
Okay, tell me more.
She was wonderful. She was so great and so warm and so inviting. And again, she just has this like cool vibe.
Yes, she's so cool.
Cool, but not, you know, there's cool with a tone of condescension or like cool with a tone of superiority.
Like you can't sit with us cool?
No, this is just like cool. She's in her own skin, very comfortable where she is with who she is, and that exudes. And that's why you see, I think, what looks like a very happy, peaceful, content person.
And she's, I think, signing on for a couple more movies. So I think she's back.
Yeah.
So it'll be great to have her.
Yeah.
In our worlds again.
And then she can go away again if she wants.
And then she can do whatever she wants because she's Cameron Diaz.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, this was another fun one today.
So fun.
I think I might have like eyeliner running down my eye. So
actually.
Thanks for that. Thank you guys, of course, for listening and subscribing and saving and following and doing all of the things that support In3. We love you so much, and we're so thankful to have you here.
We are so thankful. Yeah. We're having the best time. This has been really good for my nervous system, this podcast.
Mine too.
Laughing so much is so good for the soul.
It really is.
Yeah.
Just a nice cortisol reduction.
And my husband said last night, because I popped over here as I do for our little Monday nighttime production meetings, he was like, you always come back giggling. Like even when you're not rolling.
So true.
And I was like, you're right. I was in a grumpy mood, came over here, had a little chat, came back, and I was like, I love what we're doing.
I do too. It really does set the tone for the rest of the day and the rest of the week, actually.
It really does.
Well, we'll see you next week.
We love y'all.
Bye.